Now it is time for something really exciting. One of my favorite parts of the GeekWire Summit. It is the finals of the GeekWire Elevator Pitch Startup Competition presented by PACCAR. So let's meet our judges for today's session. T.A. McCann of Pioneer Square Labs. He's a serial entrepreneur, investor, and professional sailor who sold his last company to Google and counts more than half a dozen startups to his name. Come on up, T.A. Heather Redman, Seattle power broker and former Getty Images executive who cuts deals as co-founder of Flying Fish Partners. Come on up, Heather. And Kyle Quinn, the CTO of PACCAR, who is leading the tech strategy for the innovative truck manufacturer. Kyle, please join us. All right, so we've met our judges. Now let's take a little bit more of an inside look at the elevator pitch and what's happened over the last few months.
Some startups go up.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate you being here today.
Sure, thank you.
Great job.
Yeah, very
Great
good.
job. Great company.
Others go down.
I never really quite understood the use case well enough to make a good judgment.
Welcome to the second season of GeekWire's Elevator Pitch, presented by PACCAR. A dozen entrepreneurs competed in this unique startup competition over the past 2 months, pitching their groundbreaking ideas on the way to the top of Seattle's historic Smith Tower. Now, with 4 finalists remaining, in areas as diverse as agtech, machine learning, IoT, and transportation, we will finally crown the winner. The clock is ticking. Jump on board with us for the final ride of the elevator pitch.
We are going to start with our first presenter. It is Greg Newbloom, the CEO of Seattle startup Memoryon. Greg, come on up.
Hi, my name is Greg Newbloom. I'm the founder and CEO of Memoryon. And at Memoryon, we found the solution to clean and abundant power hiding at the bottom of a beef jerky package. We figured out a way to make membranes out of silica gel that can power the next generation of vehicles. Companies like Toyota are betting the farm that fuel cells will replace lithium-ion batteries by 2030. But this transition is being held back by expensive and ineffective membranes. Memoryon membranes are nearly 10 times less expensive to manufacture, and we're already rolling out product to customers. We think that eating a bit more jerky is a great way to power the future of transportation.
So talk to me a little bit about the sales cycle that you have to endure with these auto manufacturers being your primary customers. How are you going to accelerate into that?
So auto manufacturers, the sales cycle is actually very long. It's often known to get into the supply chain can often take up to 10 years, which is really not compatible with a startup company like ours that needs to make sales much earlier. So we're actually initially launching our product into the water space, where this exact same product that can be utilized in transportation can also be used there. And so the membranes we've sold to date have purified over 300,000 gallons of water and reduced CO2 emissions by half a ton, and they'll continue to do that as we enter into the automobile space.
If the water use case is so good, why not just stay there for the first couple of years? And why do you pitch relative to batteries?
So the water use case is great, but the real opportunity, if you look at where the trajectories are going, especially in the fuel space, getting to the point where we have a fuel source that produces only water and power is incredibly important, and that's something that even a lithium-ion battery can't do. So it's the real massive opportunity is being able to come in and help that space. Certainly we're doing that on the waterfront as well, and so leveraging and stacking those market entry positions from our beachhead and water, but ultimately to a goal in automobiles is important.
There's quite a bit of competition in the hydrogen fuel cell space already, and some of them are pretty darn big. How are you going to compete?
Yeah, so I think that's really where our innovation comes in. So it's our ability to hit, so often when you're looking at a fuel cell, up to 50% of the cost of that fuel cell is the membrane alone. And so lowering that cost is really substantial. And the thing that we do better than anybody else is hitting top-notch performance metrics at a 10 times lower cost of manufacturing. And so it's really that disruptive manufacturing capability. We can drive down the cost of fuel cells by almost 50%, which is a pretty big mover in the market.
So are you looking to get into the supply chain with one of the big guys, or go on your own?
Yeah, we're ultimately looking for partners. I think that's, especially as a startup, it's the most effective way is to partner up and join someone else in that journey.
Do auto manufacturers make their own fuel cells, or is there a different customer along the way?
There's often, it depends on the manufacturer. So companies that are heavily invested in it have some of their own technology. Some rely on third-party suppliers that develop it themselves. So there's a combination of those, and we're working with both sides to try to get that first lever in.
Sometimes it's hard for companies here in Seattle to raise money unless they're pure software plays. How have you found the capital raising process? Do you have any barriers to getting the capital you need to take this business where it needs to go?
Yeah, so certainly as an advanced materials technology startup, it's always difficult to raise capital, but to date we've done reasonably well. We brought in more than $3.8 million in financing to date. We actually just kicked off our Series A 2 weeks ago, and we've already got $3 million soft circled on that of the $7 million round. So I think that given our value proposition, we're finding it easier than most do, but certainly raising money is always a challenge.
Thanks, Greg.
Thanks.
All right, thank you, Greg.
Nice work.
Greg Newbloom of Membryon, great stuff. It's always good to tell the investors, hey, we don't need your money, we're raising money, it's just fine. You know, go do your own thing, bug off. All right, next up, we have the winner of our Ag Tech and Environmental Impact episode. It is Keith McCall, the co-founder of Pollen Systems. Keith, welcome.
Thanks, John. To us, pollen represents data, visible and invisible, that pervades farms throughout the world. You need to collect that data before it blows away. Pollen Systems is a data analytics company that helps farmers collect that data and turn it into actionable insight that makes them grow better crops. Our solution combines information collected from drones, from ground robotic vehicles, from fixed-wing aircrafts, from satellites, and from handheld devices, mobile devices that collect data and upload it to our cloud. In our cloud, our data analytics take over. They turn that data throughout the growing season into action, helping farmers create and grow better crops. I'm Keith McCall, CEO of Pollen Systems.
Good job. Questions, judges?
Keith, can you tell us about a really good use case or success that you've had?
Yeah, so think about a specific farm in eastern Washington. It's 100 acres. They spend about $10,000 a year with us. They do about $500,000 to $750,000 in revenue from the grapes that they produce off of that 100 acres. We can actually increase that yield by 10 to 20%, resulting in a net savings or a net result of about $100,000 versus the $10,000 that we charge.
How do you handle the hardware that's involved? Is the customer buying that? Is this drones and robots as a service? How do you think about that piece?
So we actually supply the drones, which are affected with specific near-infrared cameras that take the pictures that they need. They cost about $5,000 to maintain, but we more than recover that in the cost of our services.
So how often does a drone fly over a particular farm? Or how many farms are these drones covering?
So a farm typically uses our services from the beginning of the growing season to the end of the growing season. We fly every week at about 400 feet. We collect the data, we upload it, and that gives us the ability to provide a baseline to the customers for the complete growing season. They start in the beginning using our drones to actually detect information about where to apply fertilizer in the optimal way. They then go further, and as the crops grow, they look at irrigation issues. We find out where they need to over-irrigate, or they're over-irrigating, or where they need to irrigate their farm better. At the end of the season, which we just did in eastern Washington, we fly over for pests and diseases. And as part of that, we actually helped uncover phylloxera, which was something that has not been seen in Washington for about 40 years. So that's a big, big deal that we can help farmers now contain.
How would you scale this to thousands and hundreds of thousands of farms?
So we're already operating in North America, in Washington and Oregon. We're also operating the other half of the year in Chile, Peru, and Argentina. The way we scale it is we put an agronomist in place, a couple of drones with a drone operator, and a salesperson in region. They actually can get started for about $100,000 a year. We start building these teams in multiple different regions. We collect the data and synthesize it in our Bellevue offices. And so we can scale based on the amount of data that we get in at any given point in time.
Thanks, Keith. Let's have a big round of applause for Keith. That's Keith McCall, co-founder of Pollen Systems. He was the winner of our Ag Tech and Environmental Impact episode. And now we're going to hear from our machine learning winner, Maria Colacurcio, CEO of Syndio. Maria, come on up.
Thank you. Sindeo is committed to eradicating unlawful pay disparities in the workplace. We have 65 enterprise clients and 1 million employees on our platform already. We're the only SaaS company licensing data science-powered software to help companies analyze and resolve pay gaps due to gender or race and stay in compliance over time. Companies like Nordstrom, Adobe, Slack, and Target use Syndio to retain top talent and improve employee engagement. The pay gap is set to stick around for 200 years. Who here thinks that's acceptable? We can solve this. Who's with me?
Who's your ideal customer and how do you sell into them?
Our ideal customer are any companies with 250 employees or more. And typically, we have customers in two camps, ones that are trying to reduce legal risk or companies that are very progressive and are using pay equity as a way to enhance their brand and improve employee engagement.
And just a quick follow-on.
Sure.
Is it difficult and slow to sell into that target customer?
Absolutely not. So pay equity is not a fad. It is building momentum, and every state, with the exception of 8, have some sort of pay equity legislation. So in those two camps, companies are really motivated to reduce their legal risk, or they're motivated because there's studies that show pay transparency has a bigger impact on retention than actual pay versus market.
Can you tell us about a recent success that you've had?
We had a customer that's a large petroleum company, and they'd been working with one of our competitors, which are typically law firms that are big, clunky, and slow. It had taken them months to run one pay equity analysis, and they learned nothing. They learned nothing about their underlying policies or how to fix it for the next go-around. Enter Syndio. We did an analysis for them, got in a great rapport with the team. On the morning of their board of directors meeting, the HR person made some changes. They changed some comp data, they moved some groups around. Panic. Within 62 minutes, they were able to upload fresh data, run a new analysis, download a report to PowerPoint from our software, and present it to the board.
I think this company is fabulous, and I love the vision. I keep wanting you to turn it more to less of a compliance issue and more to a good housekeeping seal of approval or a recruiting tool. Do you see that starting to happen in your customers?
Yes, we have customers asking us for that certification. So we're currently working with Gartner to create a consortium with a third party that's validated, in addition to the National Women's Law Center, to create a seal of approval, because the methodology is so important. Data gerrymandered different ways can produce a vastly different result. So it's very key that companies follow the right methodology.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank
Let's
you.
hear from Maria.
Thank you,
yes. All right, fantastic job. Okay, our final presenter is the winner of the IoT episode, Jinesh Varia, CEO of Industrility. Jinesh, take it away.
Good morning, everyone. Did you know that 90% of the OEM's customers stop using authorized parts and services after the warranty expires? This is a $400 billion market that is ripe for disruption. Industrility drives sales of authorized parts and services by our unique dynamic warranty. The warranty that actually increases based on the customer's usage of the authorized parts and the performance of the machine. We have developed a unique data-driven dynamic warranty platform that uses IoT sensors that collect data and detect counterfeit parts. Everyone wins. The customer, the end user, gets more warranty. The OEM and the distributor recaptures the lost revenue, aftermarket revenue. And we make money when our customers make money.
Great. Thanks, Jinesh. Well done.
So one of the things that I'd be interested in is once again, how do you scale the sensor deployment across the fleet of vehicles?
So we directly connect with either the supplier of the parts or the distributors of the parts. Our tags go directly to the parts as well as the suppliers. They come pre-installed. They can be, as they go across in the field, our gateways and our mobile devices will collect data that will send data to our cloud, and our logic and our algorithm will automatically detect whether they are genuine parts or not.
It seems like a complicated solution. Can you simplify it to like your first customer and your first use case?
Absolutely. So we work with customers that are boilers, chillers, compressors, gensets. Our first customer is actually a boiler distributor company. We take data from these machines. They have air filters, oil filters, and several different parts that needs to be replaced. This is throughout the lifetime of the entire equipment, which is typically 30 to 50 years of lifetime. They provide only 3 or 4 years of a standard warranty. And after the warranty expires, nobody uses the genuine parts. So we, by enabling the parts, we are able to detect whether they are completely a new data stream for the parts and detect whether they are genuine or not, and provide them a dynamic warranty. So as you use and operate the machine, your warranty actually increases because you're using genuine parts. Thereby, the OEM will be able to sell more authorized parts. These parts are pretty high margin parts which help help OEMs make more money throughout the lifetime of the equipment.
So, sorry, can you tell me a little bit about in that first use case, what kind of a return did the OEM realize?
Yeah, so that's a fantastic question. So OEM in this case was we were working with the distributor of the OEM. So we didn't work directly with the OEM, but as our strategy goes towards different authorized distributor, the OEM will follow. So the results that the ROI that the distributor company got was basically that they are able to increase their parts and services revenue throughout the lifetime and provide an incentive to the end customer about dynamically warranted.
Why aren't the OEMs just doing this themselves at the end of the day? I mean, I get, with my HP printer, I get the little comment from HP as I'm trying to load the counterfeit ink, telling me, oops, this is not, it's not going to work right.
Yeah.
So everything's getting smarter. We're going to have more sensors on everything. Why aren't they just doing this directly?
So 3 things. One is it's extremely difficult to build a cloud-based connectivity solution that works end-to-end with a kind of an easy button. So we have developed our own dynamic warranty algorithm and engine that helps actually increase and provide them an incentive back to the customer. Second, with 10 years at Amazon Web Services and our team we are building an entirely innovative getting started experience that works out of the box. And fourth, the third is really the differentiator here is that we are focused entirely on the after-sale market, which is huge and which enables and provides a data-driven way of collecting data for the parts and building a completely new parts data stream.
Thank you, Jinesh.
Thank
well
you
done.
very much.
Well done. Okay, those are our 4 pitches. Our judges are going to go huddle back in the corner here as they try to decide who the winner is here. They do not have an easy task, as you know. That's not going to be an easy task. As they huddle, I just want to tell you a little bit more about our prize package today for our winners and our Geek Choice winner. In addition, of course, to all the startup glory they get here on stage, there's a trophy and prize package from the Hyatt Regency, Daniel's Broiler, and our presenting sponsor of the elevator pitch, PACCAR. This includes a special VIP pitch session with their executive team, and I know a lot of these companies want to get in there and sell to a company like PACCAR, a drive experience at their technical center, an additional prize package that they have. So as the judges are discussing this off stage, I'd like to bring up the 4 entrepreneurs. Let's give them a big round of hand. This is not easy to do, folks. Greg, Maria, Jinesh, Keith, come on up stage front. And I just want to ask you a few questions about this experience. What has been the biggest takeaway or feedback that you've taken away from the judges with the insight they've provided?
Pitch to kids.
pitch to kids.
Yeah,
That's great.
they
Okay.
force you to keep it high and tight, and they force you to use words that people understand.
Well, Maria, it was interesting with your pitch because I actually know that you switched your pitch. As I heard it today, I was like,
did.
based on the feedback from the judges. Very smart. So tell that story.
Well, so in my original pitch, I left out that we had 65 customers and 1 million employees on the platform, which is a pretty big statistic. So the judges gave me that
They
feedback.
grilled you a little bit, yes.
Yeah, and I made sure to include it the second time around. So listening, I guess, would be tip 2.
Jinesh, Keith, what have you taken away?
Kyle, who's an expert in the room, and we really got some quantitative and qualitative feedback on our pitch. So we were able to kind of switch around and focus on the key area points about the aftermarket and other areas which are very important for the business and how big the industrial aftermarket segment is.
And Jinesh, I got to say, you know, having been in the room for the first pitch, the evolution you've had on your pitch from the original to today is fantastic. So I can already see the benefits in your own pitch and how you're explaining this.
Thank you.
Keith or Greg, what's been your biggest takeaway?
The biggest piece of feedback that I got was to have a use case that was easily explainable to the audience and to the folks who are looking to potentially invest. And that's what was a key piece that I think both TA and other folks identified for us.
And that's easy with Keith because he's talking about growing grapes and, you know, cultivating some wine for us all. So you have very, very tangible use cases to share. And Greg, how about yourself?
Yeah, I think it's along the similar line, except ours is much more complex. You know, we don't even really talk about what our product does. We have to use an analogy to help people understand what we're doing. But being able to break down how it's utilized, that was some advice that I got from the judges and leading people and walking people through a very simple set of steps. And I think that's been really helpful as we've been out fundraising to investors.
Well, 4 great entrepreneurs. Our judges don't have an easy choice here. And you in the audience, if you have not voted already, get out those apps, cast your vote. We'll see who wins that Geek's Choice Prize. It's Greg, Maria, Jinesh, or Keith. And our judges, how are we doing over there? They're deep in conversation. This is not an easy choice, for sure. Keith, one thing with your pitch that's interesting, because you're doing ag tech, that's not a business that everyone can grasp onto. And how have you evolved your pitch to make it more accessible to an investor base that might not have grown up on a farm?
So the initial pitch is just designed to tell a story. Okay, so in that 28 seconds, how do you actually explain to folks what pollen means, what data means, and how we're transforming that data into actionable insight for the farmers? You got to nail that in 28 seconds, and hopefully we did.
Wonderful. And Jinesh, what's next for your company?
Oh, growing, and hitting it hard with our customers, with customer obsession and focusing on the right model for business model. I think we will be able to kind of succeed.
Good. And Greg, I made the joke that you're out there fundraising. Sounds like you're having a lot of success. How about others? Where are you on the fundraising trail? I know there's some investors in this room. I'm seeing a few up here in the front rows. So where are you all on the fundraising path?
Yeah, so we did more revenue in Q3 than all of 2018 combined. So we're set to raise our Series A in Q1.
All right, good. How about the rest of you all? Where are you on the fundraising process?
So we raised a Series Seed of $1 million last year from the Alliance of Angels and Koretsu Forum here locally. We've just opened a $2 million Series A round, and we're looking for investors to come chat with us about it.
All right. Okay, well, it looks like our judges have decided on a winner. So judges, come on back up, and we will see who is the winner of the second season of GeekWire's Elevator Pitch. Let's welcome our judges. How about it for our judges? Yes, Kyle Quinn, Heather Redmond, and T.A. McCann. So what stands out to you in a good pitch?
We were talking about that backstage, obviously, and you know the biggest thing for an early stage entrepreneur is the ability to command people to follow you, and that includes us. And so you're looking for that conviction, you're looking for that leadership quality. A lot of that is by bringing in references that help you understand that other people have followed that leader, and so customer traction can be super compelling.
Kyle or TA, which stands out to you?
Yeah, so I would say command, compelling, clear, concise are all good things that go into a pitch.
Yeah, and there has to be value in it. There's no doubt.
Yeah, I know you were always asking, what's the return on investment? You're looking at it. Yeah, you're looking at how am I going to get my return as a potential buyer of this technology. So always good to keep in mind.
I'll add one more C, which is customers.
Yes.
Customers is
You're always big on that.
always
Yes.
helpful with that last C.
So if you want to go back and watch all of the episodes of the Elevator Pitch, just go to geekwire.com/elevator pitch. It's a fun series. We really have appreciated working with PACCAR on it. So here we are. Kyle,
all right.
It's your honors. Who's the winner of this year's Elevator Pitch?
So PACCAR, on behalf of all of our employees, we've really enjoyed all the engagement all the way through with GeekWire and with our judges and everything that we've done together. I think I'd like to congratulate all 12 CEOs for everything that they've put together and pitched and put their passion into it. After all of the discussion and the going back and forth, we have selected Sindeo as the winner.
All right,
of
Maria.
2019
Yes,
GeekWire.
congratulations.
That's awesome. Great job.
Congrats,
Thank you.
Maria. Congrats.
Thank you,
Yes.
guys. Thank you. Thank you. And I listened, so I brought you shirts.
All right.
They wanted shirts.
You're
last
like,
time
are you like
around.
have championship shirts already
Yeah,
printed? Is that right, Maria? Wow, some
Thank
some
you
moxie.
so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Maria. That is a great win, and congrats to you. Congrats to all of our Elevator Pitch finalists. Just a fantastic job.
So one more thing to mention, as part of your prize, you're invited to come to pitch to PACCAR, and we'll have a day for you up at our PACCAR Technical Center in Mount Vernon. You'll get a chance to drive some trucks and see a little more of our business.
Our sales head is here. He's probably very excited to hear that.
That's awesome. That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
And for all of those in the audience, there are PACCAR trucker hats for you when you go to the break. So make sure you get a PACCAR trucker hat. Yes, that's cool. All right, we have one more piece of business. It's now we're turning it over to you, the audience. Who is our Geek's Choice winner? This gets a prize package from GeekWire, and it is Maria. You've taken it home. Taken home the prize, yes. Congrats to Maria. Well done.
Thank
and
you, everybody.
once again, a big thanks to PACCAR for sponsoring this year's Elevator Pitch competition, and to the great folks at Smith Tower that hosted us, as well as Stefan and his great video production team. And now I'm going to turn it over to Todd Bishop, who's going to lead us into the next session.
Great.
Thanks again.
Everyone.
Thank you.